Hi everyone, this is Pookie Boob with Fat Fitness. I'm doing a hell of a lot better today than I have been in a while because I finally found purpose. Anyway, so this is the Just for Today, and if you don't know what the Just for Todays are, they are this book, and it was made by NA, aka Narcotics Anonymous. And it's basically just a compilation of meditations to do every day for the recovering addict. I'm going to put the link in the comments as normal in case you want to read along. Some of the platforms have it in the description already, YouTube and Facebook being one of those. So I'm going to start reading the Just for Today. You can read along if you so wish to, or you could just listen to me. So November 2nd. It makes a difference to have friends who care if we hurt, from the basic text. And if you don't know what the basic text is, that is from the big book, which addicts use. And it tells like the story and the founding fathers of AA and NA. So, well, AA came first, then NA came when they realized that, it works for them, so it works for them. And they're both a drug, really, and there's weird gatekeepers either way, but whatever. Anyway, so for most of our problems, the solution is simple. We call our sponsor, pray, work the steps, or go to a meeting. But what about those situations where the burden is ongoing and there's no end in sight? Most of us know what it's like to live with a painful situation, a problem that just isn't going to disappear. For some of us, the problem is an incurable, life-threatening illness. Some of us have incorrigible children. Some of us find that our earnings simply don't cover our living expenses. Some of us care for a chronically ill friend or family member. Those of us who have ever had to live with an unresolved problem will know the relief that comes from just talking about our problem with our recovering friends. We may get some comic relief. Our friends may commiserate or cry in sympathy. Whatever they do, they ease our burden. They may not be able to solve our problem for us to take away our painful feelings, but just knowing that we are loved and cared about makes our problems bearable. We never have to be alone with our pain again. Just for today, those problems I can't solve can be made bearable by talking to a friend. Today, I will call somebody who cares. And you know what? This Just for Today is like the founding building blocks of AA and NA. It's like we have a lot of problems going on in our daily lives, and it's so easy to go back to our drug of choice and be like, you know what? If nobody gives a shit about me, why the fuck should I? Why does it matter? But then when you go and talk to other people about it, when you, like, even if you don't even like the person, you still talk about your problems with them, it feels somehow lighter. It feels like you could actually deal with your problems. You can do the thing that makes it bearable. It makes it so that you can keep on going. And you know what? Like the difference between me at 1 a.m. this morning and the me that is now at 7 p.m. is two completely different people. And you know why? It's like I reached out today to so many people to just gas me up, make me feel good about myself and my situation, why I'm even doing the things I'm doing. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, what is that? And then your brain, and then you get anxiety, and because it's like living with mental illness is also another issue that usually comes with addiction. And it's like I'm also neurodivergent, where whatever way you want to put that as. So it's hard for me to communicate in the first place. It's like I make it look real good that I know how to communicate well with people, but it's like I have a hard time concentrating. Sometimes I do social faux pas that are so not okay. And I don't realize it until somebody looks at me like, um, I'm like, fuck. I did the thing where I did a weird thing in front of somebody, and now I'm going to think about that for the rest of my day. And I'm going to hate myself for it. So even in those situations, it's actually really hard to not go back to your drug of choice. And it's such a silly thing, just telling me, it's just like, Jess, chill. Like, yeah, you'll get this. You're good. You're golden. Just hearing that from other people makes all the difference in the world. Like, you can even tell, like, watch my other Just for Today from 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like and my emotions constantly go through that ups and lows. And I really need people in my life to tell me that, no, bitch, you acting cray cray and you are not cray cray. I mean, you're a little cray cray, but you got steps to make it not so cray cray. And I think that that is a beautiful lesson to learn in the NA and AA. And I mean, that's not even just for addicts, honestly. It's really not. Like, any problem that you might have, if you talk about it to somebody, you're going to feel better about it, regardless. Like, you are going to feel better about the fact that your life feels shitty right now. And it's just like, I finally found, and it's like, it's so funny because it's like going back to your drug of choice could mean years and years and years and years of heartbreak instead of just feeling that feelings for 2 days, a week, maybe even a month. It's like you might feel that way, terrible, awful feelings, but if you go back to your drug of choice, it's going to be so much harder for you. It's like, I thought about, like, I don't think about drinking anymore like that, but it doesn't mean that I don't still have the behaviors. You still have to do a lot of shadow work. You still have to constantly look at the way you're reacting to situations so that you can, like, try to improve the way you look at the world. It's like, do you know what realization I came to the other day? And it's such a silly one, and it made my life just knowing. It's like, I do not feel safe laying down. I just don't. I never understood how people could fall asleep just somewhere. I can't do that. I have such bad insomnia that it's sometimes a real actual problem. And I just found out yesterday, this morning actually, that it's like, it all comes down to the simple statement of, I don't feel safe laying down. And I started talking to my man about this, and then we went down a whole pathway of like, oh, that's because you grew up in this shitty ass household that had roaches in it. So you're afraid to lay down because you're afraid of roaches climbing into your mouth. And that's so ridiculous. Isn't that ridiculous? And it's just like, now I think and I hope that maybe the ridiculousness of how my brain works in that way, that when I lay down to sleep tonight, that I'm not going to be like, wow, a roach is going to crawl into my mouth. And I'm going to be like, that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Go to fucking sleep. And I feel like after a while, as I do everything in my own life, the more and more you do it, the better and better you get at it. Which is also these Just for Todays, because it's like, when I first started doing them, I'm like, I don't know the format I should be doing this in. Like, which, by the way, what I'm going to start doing is actually, I'm going to start by making a separate TikTok for these Just for Todays, and I'm just going to read the TikToks and put those on TikTok, and like certain good times during the day, and letting people just say their feelings on the matter in the comments, because I realized that by doing these live streams every day at a certain time is just not working for me, because it's like sometimes I'm just not there during the daytime to do these certain things, and it's like I'm not good at keeping this time schedule that I put myself on. So I'm rearranging it and changing it, and I had to talk to a lot of people to come to this conclusion. And talking helps. It always has, it always will. It's like if you feel like it's not helping, then you're not talking to the right people, or you're not being true to yourself. Because when you talk to people, you can't lie to them either. You can't be like, oh no, I'm doing okay, I'm feeling great, you know. It's like life is good right now, and you just keep all that head in. It doesn't help any. It's like you gotta say, I'm having a shitty time. I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all. I feel good now. And that's also a great thing to talk about with other people. It's like people discount the fact that it's just like talking about the good times and the good things with people is also beneficial. Like, I actually realized like that I had a friend that made me feel like I couldn't talk because people think I talk too much, or people don't like what I have to say. And I realized that that is pretty shitty toxic behavior, and I don't need that in my life. Because why the fuck would I want to talk to people who don't want to talk to me? Like, what the hell? Or don't want to hear what I have to say just because they think of me in a certain type of way. It's like you don't have to keep people around that don't like you. I mean, maybe in a work situation you do. But like in your social life, or maybe even if you're still living with your parents, or in a situation where you're not able to get out yet, or whatever have you, you don't need to choose to socialize with people that don't make you feel good. It's just absolutely your choice in the matter who you decide to keep in your life. I mean, don't get me wrong, like you can't decide how long they're going to stay in it, or you can't do that. It's like everybody has free will, and not everybody is going to be nearly on the same wavelength as you at the time. It's like, don't get me wrong, this friend is having really shitty toxic behavior with me, but I still love her, you know, and it's just like they're just going through a thing right now. And when they want to come back and talk to me and not a shitty manner, then that's great. I would love that. But for the time being, I am choosing to stay away from it, because it's like, why would I continually make myself feel shitty? It's just not okay. So, and if anybody's wondering who that friend is, I'm not telling. Because that's me and my business. You stole my coffee. My man stole my coffee because this is bitter as shit. All right. So, with that being said, I hope to hear from you guys. Write in the comments, write in the chat, whatever platform you're on. Please let me know how you feel about this just for today. I hope that it brings you as much comfort as it does to me. So please read it through. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you think. I do check my platforms. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye.